Hello my beautiful cherry blossoms. Today I just made a KNY OC, and I'd like to share it to you. This character base is obviously not mine, since I deleted mine before I could think of the idea to record this. I just used a base off of Google. Now, I want to share too. You guys about her. Oh, and her name is Miyuki Soyama, the daughter of Akaza and Koyuki. She is the Frost Hashira. First form. Falling Snowflake Pierce. A swift, concentrated straight punch aimed directly at a demon's weak point. The pressure creates a freezing shockwave that momentarily paralyzes the target cells, slowing down regeneration. Second form. Winter Solstice Compass. She takes a firm stance and stomps the ground, sending a wave of frost outward in a perfect circle. This allows her to sense the vibrations and movements of any enemy within her. Radius, a subconscious inherited trait from Akaza's destructive death. Compass Needle. Third form. Flowing Icicle Willow. A defensive movement technique derived from water breathing. She evades enemy attacks with fluid, slippery footwork, leaving behind a trail of cold mist that obscures her position and makes the ground frozen and slippery for her opponent. Fourth form. Koyuki's Embrace, the merciful form. Similar to water breathing's fifth form. Blessed rain after the drought. This is a gentle, swift strike used only on demons who surrender or seek redemption. It causes zero pain. Demon feels as though they are being covered in a warm, gentle blanket of snow, seeing images of cherry blossoms as they peacefully fade away. Fifth form. Raging Blizzard Combo. A high-speed barrage of punches and kicks. Each strike unleashes sharp, jagged ice crystals that rip through a demon's flesh, mimicking a chaotic winter storm. Sixth form. Shattering Frostbite. She grabs the demon directly. By channeling the full force of her breathing into her gauntlets, she instantly freezes the demon's body, part solid, then shatters it into dust with a follow-up strike. Esoteric Art. Final form. Whispering Blossom Avalanche. Her ultimate technique. She moves at speeds that break the sound barrier, appearing as a blur of pink and white. She strikes the opponent from all directions simultaneously, the shockwaves forming the shape of a massive blooming snowflake made of ice and cherry blossom petals that completely obliterates the target. Those were all of her breathing forms. Now if you don't mind to stay longer, I'll share her story as well. And yes, Google did help me make this story for her since I didn't know what to do for it. I also won't be showing the writing. You guys will just have to listen. Sorry. In the canon timeline, the rival Kenjutsu dojo poisoned the well of the Soryu dojo, killing Koyuki and her father Kizo, which drove Hakuji into a demon-creating rage. In Miyuki's timeline, there was a brief, beautiful window of joy before the tragedy. Koyuki and Hakuji had a baby girl. They named her Miyuki, wishing her a life of beautiful happiness. When the rival dojo poisoned the well, Koyuki frantically used the last of her strength to keep the baby from drinking the water. While Koyuki and Kizo succumbed to the poison, infant Miyuki miraculously survived. When Hakuji returned and found his family dead, his mind snapped. He slaughtered the 67 members of the rival dojo with his bare hands. Muzan Kibutsuji arrived shortly after, turning the blood-soaked Hakuji into the demon Akaza. Blinded by the transformation and stripped of his human memories, Akaza wandered into the night, completely forgetting the crying baby left behind in the ruins of the dojo. A few days later, a retired demon slayer following the rumors of the mass slaughter arrived at the Soryu dojo. Amidst the carnage, he found a freezing infant miraculously alive, tightly clutching 3 pink snowflake hairpins that had belonged to her mother. Taking her in, the old slayer raised Miyuki in a small, snowy mountain village. As she grew, Miyuki proved to be a visual clone of her mother, inheriting Koyuki's soft, gentle eyes, pale hair, and inherently kind nature. However, it quickly became clear she inherited something else from the father she never knew, an unnatural, terrifying genius for physical combat. Even as a child, her reaction times, strength, and martial arts instincts were flawless. When Miyuki turned 14, her adoptive father finally told her the truth of where she came from. He explained the tragedy of the Soryu dojo and showed her the snowflake hairpins. Through his connections in the cause, he also shared a chilling rumor. A powerful upper-rank demon had been spotted using a martial arts style called Suryu, the very style of her grandfather's dojo. Miyuki didn't feel hatred. Instead, her heart broke for the father who had lost his mind to grief and been turned into a monster. She made a choice. She joined the Demon Slayer cause, refusing to use a Nichiren sword. Instead, she had the swordsmith village forge pale pink Nichiren gauntlets and greaves. She adapted water breathing into her own frost breathing, blending her mother's snow theme with her father's hand-to-hand combat. Miyuki surged through the ranks of the Demon Slayer cause with unprecedented speed. Her movements were a paradox. She struck with the devastating, bone-shattering force of a blizzard, yet her demeanor remained as soft and gentle as falling snow. She quickly claimed the empty seat of the Frost Hashira. Unlike slayers like Sanemi or Obane, who fight with pure malice, Miyuki became known as a beacon of mercy. She wears her mother's snowflake hairpins in her hair, and her blue tattoo markings are actually special medical wraps she uses to compress her muscles for maximum striking power, a subconscious homage to her father's criminal tattoos. She fights with one singular, burning hope: to find upper rank 3, face him in battle, and use her strength to break Muzan's curse over his mind, finally granting her father the peace he was robbed of centuries ago. Now that was my character's story. I'll share the rest about her that I haven't shared in the beginning. Miyuki is 20 years old and her birthday is September 2nd. Now that was all that I wanted to share about my new character I made for Demon Slayer. I also ship her with Sanemi. Since she's my character, I can ship her with whoever, as long as it's not like Michiro, since he's 14 and mine is 20. You guys can do the same. Everyone is allowed to choose who their character ends up with, and if your character is with Sanemi too. Sorry. Later on I'll post more about Miyuki and Sanemi. They're gonna be a cute ship. Okay? That's all. I hope you stayed to listen about Miyuki. Thank you if you did. Now I'm not begging, but can you please follow? I'm so close to 3K. I hope I get there. Okay. Goodbye, my sweet, tasty cherry blossoms.